video, we are going to learn how to write inside of a card that you made with your Cricut. This is super easy to do and I can't wait to show you. I'm Corinne Blackstone and welcome to my craft room. Now, in order to make these cards, you're going to need some sort of cardstock or the pre-made cards from Cricut. You're also going to need a Cricut card mat. Now, I'm using the 2x4 mat that is made for your Cricut Explore machines and your Maker machines, but you can also do this with your Cricut Joy or your Joy Xtra. It's a lot easier than a lot of people think it is, and I can't wait to show you how to do this. We're going to be using some Cricut writing fonts, so you're also going to need some pens. Now, I don't tend to use the Cricut pens a whole lot. I have adapters that work in my machines so that I can use other pens, and I'll link some videos about that down below for you if you want to learn more about writing with your Cricut and how to use other pens. We're going to be using some pre-made designs from Cricut Design Space, but you can use any design that you want to. So let's go ahead over to Design Space and get started. In Design Space for this, we're going to use a card that's already pre-made. Just makes life a little bit easier. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go under Projects, and all I want to do is search Card, and it's going to bring up tons of options that you can use to make your own cards. But I saw this set of 4 that I thought was really cute, and we're going to just use one of them. So the first thing that I want to do is I want to click on Edit Copy, because that way I can take out the cards that I don't want to use and only use the design I want. Now you can of course make all of them if you wish to, it's truly up to you. But I think I want to make this one right here with the little birthday hat. The rest are super cute, but the birthday hat's like really kind of more the vibe. So I'm going to go ahead and just select each of the ones I don't want to make and delete them. Now what I'm going to do really quickly is I'm going to click on the word make, and what I love here is this is a new thing they've done in beta where it says your project will be saved to My Stuff. You can either choose to not save it, but I do like to save it. So I'm going to click save. I think that's a really great thing that they've done, and hopefully they'll continue with that. Just makes life a little bit easier. Now, we can do this with any of our machines. You can do this with your Joy, the Joy Xtra. You can do this with the Makers, the Explorers, all of those. So what I want to do is right here where it's material load type, you'll see that you have like on mat, but then you also have on card mat. I'm going to be using the card mat for this, so it just makes it a little bit easier, and you can actually really easily see what size card this is going to go on if you're not sure. So this is going on the size R20 card. Super duper easy. But what I want this to also do is I want it to write on the inside of our card. So I'm going to make this part of our card first. Then we're going to go back and I'm going to flip the card so that it will actually write on the inside of our card. A lot of people want to know how to do that so that you don't have to handwrite a message, and I'm going to show you real easy. But first, let's go ahead and get this one cut out of an R20 size card. The first thing that we're going to need to do is to load our card onto our card mat. So this is the 4x2 card mat for your Explorer and your Maker machines. It has a clear cover, so you want to take that off. And only take it off the part of the mat that you want to use because it's got 2 sides, so you can leave the other one on. Then you want to take your card, and there's this little section right down here where you can like kind of slide it under. And it might take a little bit to get it under there, but you want to line it up so that it's all the way up and all the way to the side. Then you want to make sure that you've pressed this down pretty well. And we're going to go ahead and load our machine. We also need to load our pen, which I'm going to show you here in just a second. Now I'm just going to use a black pen for all parts of this, just so that it shows up better on camera, but you use whatever color you want. These cards come in tons of colors. So what you'll do is you'll take off your cap. Now I'm using a thicker pen as well, just so that again, the lines show up better. Open clamp A. Take your index finger, place it under clamp A, just on the edge. Put your pen in, you want to just drop it in, and then you're going to push until it clicks. Then once it's clicked, go ahead and close that clamp, and we can go ahead and hit this button. So this is just going to do the top part of our card, the writing and the little hat and the cutouts. Now that it's done, the first thing I always want to remind you to do is take your pen out, because you don't want it to dry up. Now I will say the lines are much thicker on this one because I did use the thicker pen, but I did that so that you could see the lines better. Now what you want to do is go ahead and unload your mat, and I'm gonna unload the card from my mat. So all I do is I just very gently use my nails to peel it up. If I can't do it that way, I will get my spatula out, but I really hate the Cricut spatula. But you want to do this pretty carefully, and I'm not pulling up. I'm actually pulling outwards, because if you pull outwards, it will start to release from the backing. So I'm just pulling outwards. And then once I get to like a certain point, I'll bring my fingers closer to that point and then start pulling outward from there instead of pulling up. So I'm not actually pulling up, even though it looks like I am. I'm just pulling out. Then all I want to do is unload this, and we need to take all of the little scraps off. You can either do that with your nail or with a little red scraper. You can do it with a squeegee, whatever you got. But what cracks me up is that they have this part cut out, little circles. Obviously, that's not going to stay in the card, so that's just funny. But apparently whoever designed that did not think that one through. But I'm going to go ahead and get this all cleaned off, and then I'm going to show you how to load it so that you can put the writing on the inside. Now what we want to do is create the insert, like the inside of the card. So all I'm going to do is open up my shapes, and I'm going to open up a square. Now this can be a little bit wonky because of the way Design Space is designed. So we actually need to make our square a little bit smaller than what the card actually is. So an R20 card, which is the size that we're using for this, is 4.25, I believe, by 5.5. But what I want to do is I'm actually going to make it the same size as this. So this is 4 wide and 5.25 high. So I'm going to go ahead and unlock my square, and I'm going to make this 4 wide and 5.25 high. Just hit enter. Now I'm going to check something really quick so that we can make sure that this is going to work. What I want to do, because I'm not going to cut this again or do anything, I'm just going to go ahead and hide this. Then I want to click the make button, and I want to tell this that I want to cut this on my card mat just to see what size it creates. And you'll see here that now it does give us the R20 size, because that's the size that we want to use to put our sentiment in, because that's the size of our card. So what I do is I hit cancel, and we want to fit whatever we want our card to say inside of this square. So I'm going to go ahead and go to basic cut, and I want to change the color just so we can see what we're working with a little bit better. Now what I want to do is add my text. So I'm going to click on the text box. Now it's going to show the font that I used to test something with. But what I want to do is, first I'm just going to change this to like a little easier to read font, because that's crazy looking. And once I've done that, now we can type in our sentiment. So I'm going to say, hope your day is as wonderful as you. And you can have it say whatever you want. You can add, happy birthday, whatever kind of card you want to make. It's up to you. But let's just add happy birthday. But I want this to be written inside of my card. So first thing I'll do is I'm going to size this down a little bit just so we can kind of see how big it's going to look once we choose our font. Then what I want to do is I'm actually going to go and use a Cricut font for this. And you guys know this is odd for me. I don't usually, but I want to show you how to use their writing fonts. What you're going to do is you go to filter, which are these two like dots on the lines. Click on that, and you'll see that there's a writing option right here. Click on writing, and then it's going to bring up all of the fonts that will actually write. Now keep in mind that they're not going to look like they show here on the side. So if you see one like this one, Anna's fancy lettering, if you click on that, it's going to look a little bit different when you actually use it for your pen. Now, one thing I've noticed is a little glitchy. If I don't click off of my font, sometimes it won't change the font over here. So I do occasionally have to click away from our font selection. That's a little bit nuts. I don't think that's quite what I'm going for. I want something that's a little easier to read. This is going to be a card that goes to my father-in-law, so I do want to make it so that it's pretty easy to read. So what you can do is just kind of click through and find a font that you like. Whatever your look is that you're going for, choose that. So I think this one's actually really good, so I'm going to go with this font. You'll notice that it is a single line font because it's made for writing. Now I do want to fit it within the size of my box, and I'm going to go ahead and I think I don't mind the letter spacing or the line spacing, but if you do, you can change line spacing up here and letter spacing. So if I change my line spacing to like -3, you'll see that it gives me a little more room down here to write a message. So let's actually do that. Let's leave it where it is. Now the next thing I want to do is I'm going to select both pieces, the square and the writing. I'm going to align them, and I just want to center them horizontally. And then I'm going to attach them. This step's pretty important. That way you can make sure everything's going to line up correctly on your card mat. The next thing I want to do is I'm going to click Make. Now, when you click on Make, you'll see that it goes right back. It defaults to the regular mat. Go under Material Load Type again and choose On Card Mat. What you'll see now is it fits it onto our R20 card. Now I'm going to show you a step that you have to do to make sure that this doesn't accidentally cut your card, because we obviously don't want it to do that. We only want it to write. So we're going to trick it into just writing on the inside of our card. The reason we put that square in there is so that it doesn't change the size of our writing. A lot of times if you don't have the square, it'll turn it so that it only fits one way on the card and it's the wrong direction. So you want to make sure that you do this. But you can load any color pen that you want, and I'll show you really quick before we actually go and write this. If you select your draw option right here where your words are, you'll see you have a box over here where you can actually select the different color pens. Now, just like when you load vinyl, loading a colored pen is not going to change anything. Cricut doesn't know what color pen you put in. So if you make this card and you decide, you know what, I chose purple, but I really would rather do it in mint, or I would rather do it in party pink, or whatever color you want to do, you just insert that color pen into your Cricut. Now this can be done on any of the Cricut machines, so it's really, really easy, fun tool. So I'm going to go ahead and take you over to the machine and show you how we do the writing now. For this next step, you're going to take your card and I want you to fold it inside out. So you want your design part that you've cut to be on the back, basically. And that's the part that's going to slide under your card mat. So you can see that that image that we created is going to slide right under there. Then fold your card over just like you did before and make sure that this is well held down. Now we do need to add our pen again. So let me go ahead and load my mat really quick. And we're going to load our pen again the same way. Open that cap. I like to put the cap on the back so it doesn't get lost. Finger under the carriage. Drop that pen in and then press till it clicks and close it. But we want to do one more step because we don't want to cut anything on this. Go ahead and just take out your blade. Your Cricut has no idea that that blade isn't there, so you can go ahead and just take that out, and now all it'll do is write, and it's going to keep it lined up. What you're going to see is that your Cricut is going to pretend like it's cutting, but it's not because there's no blade in it. By doing that, it's helped keep the writing in the right spot. So what I'm going to do is unload that pen because we don't want it to dry out. And then I always like to make sure to put my fine point blade back in, unless of course you're gonna make more cards. But we'll go ahead and unload this, and I'm gonna assemble my card super quick. Now this one's easier to take off because you don't have any of those little pieces. I'm gonna go ahead and assemble my card super quick so you can see. These insert cards are great. They're so pretty, so easy to do. So for this one, I have this really fun holographic insert. Let me slide everything out of the way so you can see this better. What you're gonna do is take your insert card and you'll see that you have these little corners, and all you have to do is tuck it so that each of those corners goes into those little cutouts. So I'm just kind of bending it a little bit and getting it into that cutout, and you do want to be gentle just so that you don't rip your card that you just spent time making for that special someone. So I'm gonna go ahead and get this. I've got this last one here, and like I said, now you've got all this space that you can either write a little message, a little extra message on if you want to, or just sign your name. But now you have this beautiful card. So here's the outside of it. And now when they open it up, they have a little message that you didn't have to handwrite. And like me, I have bad handwriting. So being able to just sign my name is awesome. This is a quick and easy project that you can do. And I just think it comes out so cool. And I absolutely love the holographic cards. I'll link these down below. They are so fun. They're super easy, and you saw a super quick project that you can make. If you have any questions, let me know in those comments down below. I'm always happy to answer those for you. Make sure you're subscribed here, that way you don't miss out on any of the fun, crafty content we have coming. I hope you all have a wonderful day, and as always, happy crafting!